What's up, man?
How's it going?
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I mean, sadly, or funny thing, you're like the magazine me,
Yeah,
and I'm like the podcast you.
yeah.
Like I went to your event, I'm like, been on my podcast, been on my podcast, been on my podcast, been on my podcast, been on my. So, dude, why don't you tell everyone who you are, man?
Yeah, so I'm Mark Menezes, and over the last year I've been working on BeLocal Riverside. So we have Instagram and TikTok. We post daily videos, all things Riverside. Mostly food, but small businesses, a little bit of history stuff. And that's all been gearing up to launching the magazine version of it. So BeLocal Riverside just launched.
Nice, man. Yeah, the TikTok's been. Are you seeing more traction on your TikTok or your Instagram? Because they're both doing well.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting more traction on the TikTok or?
Up until probably 3 months ago, TikTok would beat it out every single
Dominate
time.
it?
But now it's Instagram. Well, and Instagram's just consistent.
Oh.
Is the thing where TikTok, like
you get the algorithm, or you get they
like,
pop off, or
like I'll look at the views and the range between views on Instagram. It's not a huge discrepancy, but when on TikTok, I'll get like 2,000 views, and then I'll get 250,000 views.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of all over the place.
TikTok's so just not consistent enough.
It's not.
Unless you're like playing the same crazy algorithm of like the song or the dancing, or you do well on that platform, aka you're a girl, hot chick, like like I've noticed that too, like kind of the same thing. Like we just basically post our Instagram stuff on there, and sometimes it's like holy crap, and then some like nothing, like 100 views. I'm like, what? Like it's the same thing we just shot. Like there's no difference to it. This show is sponsored by Resilient Real Estate Group, powered by EXP. So, you're thinking about buying and selling soon? Yes, we know you probably know a realtor, your mom's best friend's cousin's neighbor, who puts her face on the local shopping cart. But you know what? Our friends at Resilient Real Estate Group have helped hundreds of thousands of people sell houses over the years, and they definitely know what they're doing based on their 5-star review on Google and Zillow. So, it doesn't matter if you're looking to buy $1 million house or a fixer-upper, make sure the next time you're thinking about buying and selling real estate, you give our friends a call over at Resilient Real Estate Group. And now we're back to the show.
TikTok the algorithm is a lot more, I don't want to say finicky, but like on Instagram, it doesn't really matter like when I post it or whether it's a food video or a different type of video. Like there's a little bit of difference, but with TikTok, I could tell it's like it wants a very specific thing at a certain time, and you have to be a little bit more intentional.
Like right on it.
Yeah, like even when you're posting it, and I'll know like, okay, if it's this kind of video, it's going to do better. But then Instagram will surprise me.
Do you think it's because like Instagram, you more have like a more local following?
I think so, yeah.
Where it's like the algorithm is getting kicked off by launched off by your followers, and not like TikTok where it's just like you get into their algorithm and then it's
yeah. Where TikTok, if it's a food video, it's always going to outperform on TikTok.
Yeah.
Where on Instagram, like I'll post a food video and it will do good, it'll do decent. But then I did a video on the Citrus Swing downtown Riverside and has like almost 300,000 views. That's not even a food video. So it's weird. It's always changing too.
Yeah. So what made you get the idea to do BeLocal? Obviously you come back from the magazine space.
Yeah.
So what was like the idea of being like, this is what I want to do or need to do or?
Yeah. So I'd been in publishing for 12, 13 years, and I had done a handful of like community magazines would be like for an area, like back in North Carolina where I started it, there's a lot of gated communities. And so when we were out there, it would be for like a large community. It just kind of served as, this is a private magazine for the neighborhood. So we did that for 6 years. And then the publishing company I was working with, they wanted to start a real estate magazine. And so they were kind of testing it. They asked me to test it where I was at in Raleigh, and it just kind of took off.
Yeah.
And so I became the head of product development for that magazine for the publishing company. And then over about 3 years, we launched it in over 100 cities all over the U.S. So when I moved back to Riverside 4 years ago, that was kind of one of the reasons we came back, and was to launch that magazine here. And I love the creative process. Like I love building something and creating something. I almost have a bad habit of once like the creative's done, I kind of like get
push off of it,
start moving on. I've had to keep myself focused. So did that, launched it here, and it's done well. But as I look back and realize that with the different magazines I did and even the creative stuff I did, the actual content of what I was doing, I was never really passionate or excited about it. It wasn't like I'm really excited about, featuring this real estate agent. Like, I'm going to get really excited this morning. Like, I enjoyed it.
It sounds, I hate when, I don't know what it is about real estate, but people think you need to be like so amped up about it all the time because like, I don't know, because they think it's such a big deal. But like, I kind of like, I try to like be so real with it because I say the same thing. Like, I've shown the same Orange Crest floor model a million times. Like, I'm not excited to go look at these houses.
Right.
Like, even though like my clients are excited, for me, it's like I've seen this house a million times. I could walk you through every inch of this house. So same thing for you. It's like, okay, another realtor. Okay, another loan officer. Another, another thing like that.
And it's a great magazine. It still is. It does well, and it's great for the agents. It's great for the advertisers. It pays off. But like you said, for me, it was like, okay. And it was just the same story. It's
over
like,
and over.
This real estate agent wanted to help people, and so they got into real estate. It was like there's some variation.
There's very few like crazy stories.
Very few, yeah. So when I was doing that, started experimenting with with podcasting. Had you on my podcast back then and vlogs, and really fell in love with that world,
creative world.
The digital and social media side, and so I was doing that, linked to that magazine. And then basically for fun, just started doing videos on Riverside and local businesses. And since my early 20s, I've pretty much always owned my own business. I've been entrepreneurial. And so when I moved back to Riverside, I had a unique experience of kind of falling in love with the city I grew up in.
Yeah.
As an adult.
I think the hard part is we take advantage. We did not take advantage. We don't realize the city we have here.
For sure.
Like I've lived here my whole life, but I traveled a lot for my old job, and like sometimes you forget like the history we have here and all the little niche. You kind of take it for granted.
Yeah.
Because you're just kind of like, oh well, there's that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even like it sounds off to say, but like looking across at the Mission Inn every day. Like I've been here 6 years now. Like I've kind of like that whole thing is like I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, it happens easy. This area is amazing, and like,
you just kind of you kind of just take it for granted.
It's unbelievable.
You know what I mean? Just like walking Mount Rubidoux and getting up to the top of Mount Rubidoux on a clear day and just overlooking the whole city. Like you kind of forget, like, oh my God, we have that here. But like I guess it's like people who live on the beach, and you're like, oh, okay, just the ocean again, big deal,
Yeah. So I started doing videos on my own personal social media on just Riverside stuff, just for fun, and really enjoyed doing that. And was getting out of the real estate magazine and making a transition. And so I had a period a year ago where it's like, okay, what am I going to do now? And I know the publishing world. I was learning and continue to learn the social media side of it. And so I was like, I want to do something for the first time that I'm excited about the content, or I'm passionate about the content. And so it just really came together. The publishing company that I worked with, they had the BeLocal product, and it's in a handful of other markets. But what we've put out specifically with the magazine and the social media side really hasn't been done before else.
Well, it's just it's two full jobs.
It is, yeah.
Like literally, I don't think people process like to create TikToks and Instagrams every day is like so much work.
It's so much work.
Much work.
Wow.
And it's so people do not process the work. Even like you, like cutting a burrito, doing voiceover, pouring food, eating.
Yeah.
That's like hours.
Oh yeah, it's a minimum. One 15-second video is minimum 2 hours.
Yeah.
Minimum.
And then what people don't get to is drive time.
The drive.
First off, figure out where you're going.
Yeah.
Drive time. Order, eat, chop up, do this, do that, then leave.
Yeah.
Then do the voiceover. Do voiceover after, right?
I do it after. Yeah.
Yeah, voiceover after. Then edit, color, chop, music, post.
Yeah, and then the communication with
the company
signing or setting up new businesses and that communication. Yeah, it's nonstop. So with this, my plan was, I knew the magazine was the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And rather than, most people start a business and then like, let's figure out the social media afterward. So I kind of stole it from Casey Neistat with when he launched his app Beam. That was the main reason he started
doing the social.
Vlog.
Yeah.
The daily vlog started because
Beam was such a good idea.
It really
was.
That
just never took off.
No, never took off.
Think of the idea where like you could only record if your phone was on your chest.
Yeah.
To experience the moment. And share the actual moment is such a great idea.
Yeah, and I'm not on it, but the new one is called Reel or Be Real.
Yeah,
I think it's similar to that, but I'm not on it.
There's too many of them.
Yeah. So my idea there, which like I said, I basically stole from Casey Neistat. Like I'm gonna build the social media side of it first and get that engagement and get following and start doing it on there. And I didn't even, the first 6 months of posting every day on social media, I didn't even mention the word magazine. Really didn't tell anybody that was happening. And so just started doing the daily videos and just focusing on local businesses. Like I said, mostly food, but from hair salons to window tinting companies to giving them just within 15 to 30 seconds. My goal is to really capture and tell the story of who this business is and what they do and give exposure to Riverside residents. But what's unique is with this is that we mail it every month to the new people that buy a home in Riverside, which, you know, most of them are not
from here.
Yeah.
No, they're coming from out, so they don't even know.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing that Riverside needs to work on. It's like keeping people like in here.
Yeah.
So like when it's the weekend, they don't go, oh, we're just gonna go to Orange County to have a nice dinner or whatever. It's like there's so many spots here that they could go to.
Yeah.
And keep it local.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's the goal and the vision of it is first here is we're focusing on those new movers with the printed version. So every month I get that list within 30 to 45 days of them showing up. It shows up at their house. But the beauty with social media and the algorithm is that it's targeting them. Even if they're just working with you to look at their house, the algorithm sees that they're here.
Yeah.
So I'm getting constant comments like, hey, we're looking at buying a house here, and we went and ate at Butch's Grinders because we saw your video.
Yeah.
So it's social media, I'm getting in front of them even before that process. So then and it's already happened. We've only mailed out 2 months to new movers, and I've gotten a message like, hey, we were following you on social media, and this magazine just showed up in our mailbox. So we send it to the new movers, and the goal is to introduce them to the city. Here's some history. Here's some people doing some really cool stuff. Here's the local sandwich shops, local coffee shops, and then help those small businesses.
So this one's going to be good for a year, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Is there going to come a time where you think you're going to have to do more than in 1 year? Or is the plan just to do one a year?
I think we'll probably do 2 a year. So the initial plan in which we are doing was, like I said, just to send it to those new movers. But I didn't really anticipate how many just regular Riverside residents would want it. And so as I started talking about it, and people were like, well, I want that. I want to see it. I want to have it. So about midway through the process, I'm like, okay, we're going to have to figure out like a second tier to it where we just get it out to the city. And my plan wasn't to do that till 2024. So the plan was every month, every new mover gets it for 2023. And
I will say it works out great to you that the market's a little slower.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have a set number that we guarantee for advertisers. And so worst case scenario, we just pull zip codes like Moreno Valley and Rupa Valley and Eastvale. So
what's that number?
400.
400.
Yeah. And so the plan was 2024, continue to do that, but then do like either once or twice a year, just a huge run, and just I blanket the city and
go
leave it
all
everywhere.
over.
So the demand was so high now that we've sent out January and February, which were their December and January movers. And then for the launch and to get it out there, we printed an extra 1,000 copies that are gone already. So we gave some away at the launch party. And then the first 30 days right now, you can pick it up at Made for free. So it'll be exclusively there.
You're going to start charging for them?
No, I'll keep it free. So so I'm doing a slow rollout. So we got that 1,000 out right away. And then every month we're printing about 100 to 200.
Because they're so expensive.
They're so expensive.
I'm trying to print 24. How many pages is it?
70.
I'm trying to print 24 right now for a first-time homebuyer packet, like magazine quality. So for open, dude, it's like $600 for like 100. I'm like, God dang,
it's not cheap.
It's so expensive, and it's like not like I can't order 10,000. It doesn't I don't need that many.
Right.
They're like, oh well. I was like, can I just get 100? They're like, minimum orders 250. I'm like, oh, God, I don't even know. It'll take me a year to get rid of those at least.
So we'll always keep it free, but I think so. This year's a slow rollout. I'll put about 100 to 200 out every single month throughout the year, and then next year I'm thinking we'll do a spring, summer, and a fall, winter edition.
Got it.
Probably keep the same cover, because for the cover worked with Juan Navarro at the Eastside Art House, and my idea there was to have one unique cover for the year done by a local Riverside artist. So then that becomes like that year's
thing.
Piece, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the hard part too, is like when you're trying to pump out so much every month.
Yeah.
When you're trying to think of a new magazine every single month. Like,
yeah, which I did for 12 years.
Yeah.
Which is just,
it's insane.
Yeah.
It's like you're always under the gun.
Yeah.
You're always like, you can't even enjoy the moment. You're already like, okay, what's the next magazine?
Yeah, you get through your deadline, which usually the last 3 days are just like
crazy.
Working nonstop to hit that deadline, and you're like, oh, we're done. Here we go again. Yeah, so this is I mean, I absolutely, obviously, I love the content. I love Riverside. I love working with small business owners and being able to tell their story. And it's just a win-win. I feel like everything I've done over the last, really all my life, this is the first time that everything's just
kind of came together.
Yeah, where what I love doing, my passion, my skill set, just all kind of lined up.
Do you get a lot of DMs of people wanting to like promote their business, tag you and promote? I get them so many every day.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to sound rude, but I almost want to be like, I don't share those. Like that's just not our page. You know, our page is just the podcast. So they all day, like they just tag me and tag me and tag me. And I was like, I've never shared one of them. I just like, cause I'm worried that it's like, if I do it once, then it's like my whole page will just become the spammer of like everyone tagging me and everything.
Yeah. So the only thing I'll do is our partners and advertisers, if I'll share some of their stuff.
Yeah.
But even that, I try to keep it to a low number because I would strive really hard to have just original content.
Yes.
And that's because that's what does the best. And even for my advertisers, we do videos on them. So we put them like in the rotation. That's like part of what they get. In addition to being in the magazine, we'll do videos on their business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to keep the sharing down because
it's
original content's the best. And there's not a lot of people. I mean, you put out nothing but original content, and that's the hardest thing to do. And there's not a lot of people that are doing that.
I'm just not good at, like, I just have never been a sharer.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like, I mean, I'll share and I'll tag people certain things, but it's like, it's almost like, for me, it's like, I don't want to go off brand.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I don't like know the company that you're trying to promote me, like, who am I to promote a company that I've never worked with or don't know, and like, what if they're not that great, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
and being authentic and genuine is so important.
Yeah.
And it's really easy with this to cross that line.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's crazy how quickly it's happened and how I think most people don't realize with social media and marketing and advertising, it's because we've been saying for a while, like, this is where it's headed. This is where it's headed. Like, we're there.
It's already there.
And with like the creator economy and like the whole influencer thing, that's where businesses are looking, where there's entire agencies now that exist to help find other businesses, content creators, put content. And I'm getting approached by them.
Are you?
Yeah. I get an email almost every week of like, hey, this headlamp company
wants to pay you
a video on it, pay me to do a video. I'm like, no, that's not what I do. So if I do get DMs of like a local business, they're like window tinting and they're like, hey man, would love to work with you or share stuff. If it's a local business and they seem to, once I investigate them just a little bit, there's no red flags and it's something I would use, then for sure I'll go do a video. Because for me, it's good content to put out there.
Have you been, are you starting to get to the point where you have to say no to people?
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't make sense, like if I'm like, I wouldn't use it.
I think the hard part is they don't process that it doesn't make sense. Like for me, people hit me up to be on the podcast and I'll be like, okay, you haven't posted in 8 months.
Yeah.
You have 100 followers. I don't even know what we'll be talking about. Like, I was like, where's the win in this? Like, it sounds awful to start saying it that way, but it's like, okay, I'm already full. So it's like, how do you fit into this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's easier for me. I say it would be hard. I think it's easier for me because most of the local stuff, if it's locally owned, I'd say probably 95% of it.
You say yes.
I'll say yes to.
Well, I guess for you, like, you're just gonna go shoot a video. Like, I'd sit down and talk to someone.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, can I fill 40 minutes with you?
Right.
Then sometimes I've had people in here, I can't. Like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So for you, like, is the goal to do still like for the whole time both?
Yeah. Yep.
So social running strong.
Yeah.
Kind of be like a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I mean, there's a few other Riverside magazines, but there are two.
Yep.
There's like 2 other ones, but they don't do social. I don't think they're doing social at all, are they?
They do a decent.
But not like on your level, yeah.
Not what I'm doing.
Not like every day.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's like the thing. It almost has to be like both. Like, I think like the social brings you into the magazine now.
Oh, it really does. And
You
the
know?
two just feed each other.
Where the magazine back in the day when I was a kid used to pull you to the website.
Right.
Now I think it's the opposite. I think the social brings you to the magazine than back and forth.
Yeah, and the magazine. So like those 400 people that move to Riverside every month.
Now they're coming to the social.
They're coming over to social
It's
because
the
this is
bulk.
almost like this is just a taste.
Yeah.
Come over here and like you can see a page with all the coffee shops
Mm-hmm.
in Riverside, locally owned ones, but then come to social media and you can see regular videos on some of those coffee shops and other restaurants and
Yeah.
businesses.
Do you think do you see yourself expanding at all on this or no?
Yeah.
Because you're right now TikTok, your Instagram, your magazine. Do you go vlogging style YouTube? Is that too much? Do you go podcasting with small businesses? Are you?
Yeah, I think the next step will be a podcast, but kind of a short form.
Like 20s?
Yeah, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, like Lunch at Made that we used to do.
Yeah, that was too hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't believe you took that on.
But not going live. That was the
when
hardest
you
part
went
of that.
when I saw you announce you were gonna go live
Yeah.
every Wednesday. I went like
That-
this. I was like, bless his heart.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see him going the miles because it's so hard
So hard.
to line that all up
Yeah.
and do it all every single week.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I could shoot 5 in one day and okay, now I have it banked. But to go Wednesday like live at one time, dude, it's so I sometimes don't. I mean, we have to do 104 podcasts this year, so we have to hit it. But like, there's other things I'm working on that I'm like, oh, I missed that this week. Like, I just didn't make it.
Yeah, that was nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So definitely won't do it that way.
Yeah.
You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
I think the quality is easier this way.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
chop it up. You
Yep.
can change things if you need to. If someone needs to take a break or whatever,
Yeah.
like I've had people hit me up after like, hey, can you cut that out? I should not have said that. Yeah, no problem. I'll cut that
Yeah.
out. Yeah, throw a commercial in there or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that-
podcast will be next.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to figure that out.
Did you get obviously everything was great at the party. First off, threw an amazing party.
Thanks, man.
That was a great party.
That was fun.
It was a fun time. I bet that was like a big relief for you.
It was, yeah. It was a year of, because for so many months I'm just putting out these videos every day. Obviously, not making any money, not getting
Yeah.
paid for 9 months. You know,
Mhm.
putting out a video every day and believing and seeing the vision and seeing the finish line. But there's days where I'm like, I'm gonna go eat another sandwich and post a video, and day after day after day. And so the event was, for sure, was a moment of like take a step back and see that it all came together.
Do you struggle with motivation at all or no?
I struggle with distraction,
Got it.
not motivation. Yeah.
So just going in
Distracted.
too many directions.
In too many directions. Yeah. And if I have 3 things to do, I need to always have to try to be intentional to pick the one that's most
important.
Yeah.
The one that's actually gonna make money.
Yeah. Yeah. One for me, like I'm still editing everything,
Yeah.
shooting everything by myself, and I hate editing. It's because
Mhm.
it's like I love the shooting, I love the creative process. Then once it's in my phone, sometimes I have 2, 3, 4 stacked up in my phone. I'm like, oh man, I need to edit video, and then keep it on that schedule, posting every day. It's like this constant tick, 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 in the back of your head.
And you're posting all your stuff, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
tough, man.
So I'll be bringing on an editor soon. Will be my next thing, so that I can still shoot and then just pass it off to someone to be able to edit it.
Well, and it's not like you're doing hard cuts, so
No,
yeah.
it's not super hard. I
Yeah.
mean, the first video I edited over my phone at this style probably took me like an hour and a half.
Really?
And now I can sit down and edit it in probably 15 minutes.
Yeah. And
depending
you do it
the
all on your
video.
phone?
All on my phone, yeah.
Yeah. They're so good now.
Oh, I know. You really don't need.
You don't even need it.
You don't.
It's crazy how good they've gotten. So when people hit me up, they're like, "Oh, what camera should I get?" I'm like, "Dude, just shoot an iPhone.
Yeah, just
Maybe get a wide lens.
yeah.
Like maybe get a wide lens and some type of audio setup, like a
Yeah.
shotgun mic that connects to your phone or something. But you don't need
No.
this whole. I can't even tell the difference. Like I'm doing this like vloggy, living in Riverside videos that I walk around neighborhoods.
Which I like those, by the way. I botched them, yeah.
Thank you. I struggle so hard to do them.
Are you shooting that by yourself?
On my
some of them?
phone? Yeah. But I struggle so hard to shoot them. I hate shooting them.
Yeah.
I know I need to. Like my last video, the pros and cons of Downtown Riverside living, got me like 200 views, and that's, you know, it's good for me and whatever. And I know this works. Like I'm coaching with someone who did it in Dallas on a big level.
Yeah.
I just hate doing them. I don't know what it is. I hate driving to the neighborhood. I feel so weird walking around with a camera. I've had people just staring at me when I'm just walking down. I have bad anxiety. I'll find any reason not to do them.
Yeah.
I will find any reason not to shoot that video. And I know I should be dropping 2 a week. I just hate them. Like, I wish I could do them. I know they're so important to do.
Yeah.
But like, I'll pick any. That's why I always, when people are like, "Oh, what should I do?" Do whatever you want to do. Why do you say that? Because you'll find any reason. I do not. I'll go shoot a million news videos. I'll do a million podcasts. I'll go speak in public. But to do those videos where I'm walking around the plaza, like, "Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Adam. If you're thinking about moving to Riverside, California," like, I'm like, I feel like an idiot. I feel so stupid doing them.
It took me a while to. I mean, I don't do a lot of that.
Yeah.
But if I'm posting a story or something, I'm in public and I'm talking, like, it was so hard for the longest. I just felt like an idiot.
I just don't, and it was so crazy. I don't, I guess for me, I feel like, and this could be just my self insecurity or me making an excuse, but like, I feel like we were in LA or Orange County, it would be more norm because everyone's, you know, it's more natural to see influencers and social media and TikTokers out there and stuff. But like out here, I just feel like people still stare at you like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, and there's so many people that make what we are doing look bad. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we have a very specific purpose and a vision and a bigger goal for what we're doing. And then you have someone that just like, oh, I want to be famous, or, you know, it's like makes what we do look bad.
I think that's the thing too, is I think you have to do these things because you actually want to help people.
Yeah.
And I don't think people process, like, if you didn't if you divide the hours it takes for me to do it, the bank on how much I make, I work probably worse than minimum wage. You know what I mean? Like, after it's all said and done, like, I probably make so least amount of money. Like, you know, it's like I get kind of annoyed when people cancel on the podcast at the last second, and I always go like, okay, well, I just like you just like took up an hour of my day.
Yeah. And
that's why we stopped doing remember we used to go like on location? I stopped doing that because like, kind of the same thing with the maid at 12. Like, you would get all ready to leave and they'd cancel on you, and you're like, okay, great. Well, I just planned my whole day around this. So you obviously, like I said, the party was great turnout. Have you gotten any pushback in Riverside with small businesses or people like that, or has it all just been welcome?
No, I haven't.
Really?
Mm-mm.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are you part of the chamber?
Not yet. I keep it's on my list of I need to do.
Oh,
I want to go through Leadership Riverside too.
Oh yeah, I had I'm going blank on the name. The guy that owns Made. What's his name?
Rico. Yeah.
Rico. He was on the podcast. He was talking about how great it is and leadership and and everyone should do it. And
yeah. So now that my launch is out of the way, and that's one of the things I need to take care of, and I want to go through that program as well.
How long is it? I don't even know how it works. Do you have to like get nominated?
I think you do, actually.
I think you have to get like nominated. I don't think you can just like sign up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I remember him telling me about
I think
that.
You know a few people.
Yeah.
I think you'd be all right. I know like Thursday, the first Thursday of the month, or the second Thursday of each month is like Good Morning Riverside.
Yeah.
And I had someone on the podcast the other day that she always goes, and she's like, "You're coming this week," and I'm like, "Oh, fine, I guess I'll go." But I have business cards now, and like on the back has QR codes, so you can just book your podcast and or watch the podcast.
Okay.
So it doesn't even have my name on it. Nothing.
It's funny how QR codes are like cool.
The cool thing now.
Remember
when 2019 I would try to put them on marketing pieces and no one knew what they were and no one used them. So then I got rid of them.
Yeah.
Because like it just never worked.
Well, and then it was like people didn't know about them, and then once people did know about them, even like even before 2016, it was almost like it was uncool.
Yeah.
The QR code.
Now give me one. When I go to a restaurant, I don't even want a menu. Just have a QR code on the table and I'll lock in.
Yeah, I guess COVID had something to do with that, probably.
Yeah, for sure. So you're at 70 pages. Is it going to get bigger or no? You like keeping it at 70?
Yeah, so we'll probably, we're super content heavy right now, and we'll always be more content heavy than ad heavy, but we'll add a handful more advertisers to this issue because we just print it every month.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
As
you're
we
right.
go through the year.
That's actually a great idea. You can literally just add advertisement in there to make more money.
Yeah, and so we do our print once a month. So if I can add more content if there's something I want to add, or
like
a cool
something
story
big,
or something big happens, we can add it to this one. But we'll add a handful of advertisers, and then for next year, January, So that will be the tradition now. Every January, new one comes out. We'll have a new artist do a new
Launch party too?
and have a new launch party.
Nice.
And I was showing some people this one and kind of put it up before the launch party, but I'm like, man, next year I'm not going to show anybody.
No, it's gonna be like secret.
And just at the party will just be a reveal.
Boom, drop
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
For you, like, was it hard to pick what went in the magazine?
No, I mean, I think because I spent the last year
Working,
doing-
yeah.
connecting and doing the podcast before and doing videos on, met so many local business owners and people in the city. It was actually super easy.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because what do you have,
Yeah.
like 5? What do you feature, 5 people in there?
3 features on people, and then 2 historical articles.
Yeah,
so one on
yeah.
the Mission Inn, and then one it's Riverside through the decades. So we hit like a high point in each decade, from 1900 to 2020. Yeah.
Nice. And you're not writing it all, are you?
No, my brother, he has a master's degree in creative writing. He's been published and he used to run his own magazine. He wrote the features on the spotlights on the individuals, and then Philip Falcone, mayor's senior advisor.
I seriously have never met him, but I've seen him a million times.
Yeah.
I
he's
see
a
him
good
everywhere.
guy.
I see him literally everywhere. I've never spoken to him. I've never met him, and I see him because, like, you know, being in downtown, like I see him
Yeah.
just like walking, like phone on, like walking.
Yeah.
And what is he? What is he? The assistant to the mayor? Is that what he is?
His title now is senior advisor.
Senior advisor. Got
He's
it.
a young guy too. He's super impressive. He has like an art history major.
Oh, really?
He does tours at the Mission Inn.
Oh, really?
And he's just a historian. Like
He just loves
he's
history?
Obsessed with Riverside history. And like I was talking to him the other day, the Brockton Arcade. They're working on trying to put back the original neon sign.
Oh,
in
really?
the Brockton Arcade.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and he had showed me. He had like this thick of, just didn't have to, but he did hours of research to find like ads of the Brockton Arcade from like 1950s, 60s, 70s, just to get in.
It's crazy to see what the
So-
plaza used to be.
Oh, I know.
When the plaza was like, I think it was like in the 50s or the 60s. Like, it was so crazy to see.
What's
Like-
crazy was outside and then went inside.
Side
went
and then back
That's
side.
what-
And
yeah.
I know, and if you're not from Rivers, I remember being a kid when right before that place got tore down. Like, you'd walk in there and it was like a ghost town. Like,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
the most ghosty mall ever. Like there was like whatever that pizza place is in the food court that was like the only thing in there. There's
Yeah.
like 2 nail shops. Like, to think of, like, if I could go back and walk that mall when I was a kid, it was like the creepiest place ever.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a little older than you, so it was like the end of its era when I
Oh.
was like in middle school. By high school, it was
Dead.
getting to that point. But when I was in middle school, it was pretty popping.
Poppin'?
Arcade was there. The warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Go buy CDs at the warehouse, and so yeah, it was
I know.
tiny.
I'll
But
tell you what, if records come back, it's on you.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if all of a sudden records are coming back, like, you'll be the main cause of records coming
Yeah.
back in Riverside.
they are. I mean, it's crazy. I go into, so the Rat Hole is one of our partners in the magazine on Magnolia, and I'll go in there, and I'm telling you, you look around and it's 15 to 22, 23
Really?
year olds, and then it's like 40-year-old or 50-year-old
Like the
men.
big gap.
Yeah, men. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's teenagers, and like they're buying CDs too.
Oh,
It's
really?
crazy. Oh yeah, they'll buy CDs. Like, if even like some newer band, right, that's just kind of trying to make it or on their way to making it, you go to a concert and their merch table will have cassettes or CDs.
Oh, really?
sometimes. Yeah, and vinyl.
I really miss Blockbuster.
Oh yeah,
Dude, Blockbuster, like, was the thing, man. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. It was like, you used to go to Blockbuster date night. You'd walk around,
Yep.
figure out movie you would pick. You know what I mean? And
it's almost, honestly, in some ways, I don't want to say ruined, but it's completely changed because I'm a big movie buff. I love watching movies, and going and getting like that experience of going and getting it and picking it out, and the excitement, the anticipation.
or the
and
anticipation
got
you
it.
go and it's not there.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, man, I really wanted to watch that.
Or you stand by the return thing
Yeah.
to see if someone's gonna
Like,
put it
you
back.
go to the front and be like, hey, when is one going to be returned? They're like, well, technically one's supposed to be in today. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, like, and you're like hanging out there, like
Did you see that
dragging your feet.
Seinfeld episode where George like bribed the video store person to give the address of the person that had the one? He
Yeah.
had? He like went to their house.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's-
Seinfeld is the greatest show of all time. If anyone wants to argue with that, please let me know.
It's definitely
Literally,
my top 5.
it is literally, when I was in the minor leagues, I would be like the show I'd watch before I went to the ballpark. And then in the ballpark, we'd watch Reflutters, and then I'd go to work
It's classic.
every day.
Actually, it's on my bucket list to go to the last Blockbuster up in Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it in What is it at in Oregon? Ben? No, is it Ben, Oregon?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but there's one left.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to hang on. Like, I don't think, because I know, I watched the documentary on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's kind of cool. I mean, I feel bad that kids don't get to experience that anymore.
Yeah.
Even going picking out video games. Like, when you used to rent a video game,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, dude, okay, we're going to rent this game. And you get to rent for 3 days. And you're like, Mom, let me keep it. 3 more days, no big deal. Play
Yeah.
the late fees.
Well, in music, too, like, the experience of listening to an album really doesn't exist anymore. You know, it's
Like, yeah.
for me, I started with cassettes and then CDs.
So I went straight CDs, yeah.
So I'd get the CD like in high school, and it's like pop it in your car,
and you would listen to the
to
whole
it.
thing.
Listen to the whole
Now
thing.
you're just jumping around.
just jumping around songs. Yeah.
And the worst part about that, you miss out on good songs. You don't even realize we're on the album because you're like, maybe the start wasn't that great. And you're like,
Right.
next one.
Yeah.
Now it's just too click, too much.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to think. Like, a lot of people will probably be like, dude, it's 2023. Who the heck's coming out with a magazine?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, was there ever a time where you're like, as you were doing the soul share, like, maybe I just stay with this? Like, maybe this is just what it is.
No, and it's interesting to say that. I had the other day on TikTok, someone commented, I had a video about the launch party for the magazine, and the comment was, magazine, what is this, 1993? Which is, I graduated in 94. So it's like, oh, that hit home. No, I mean, I feel like having something like tangible, like that will never fully go away. Obviously it's changing, and but I don't think it will, not in our lifetime. I don't think it will go away where people are okay with just having everything.
Well, I don't like reading.
World.
I like reading books. Like, I like books.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like my iPad. I won't read a book on an iPad.
Yeah. So it's, and especially if it was just that without the social media, it wouldn't be nearly like the two have to really go.
They have
together.
to go hand in hand together.
Yeah, I mean, I think the social media could exist without the magazine, but the magazine just adds. I mean, in some ways, it gives a little bit more. I don't want to say validity to it overall, but it's just the two of them. It just makes a package much more complete with the two, and then the physical copy going into the homes of these new movers. Where I mean, you work with new movers, especially when they come up from LA. They need a new grocery store,
they don't know anything.
A chiropractor, a dentist. They need new.
They don't know where
everything.
anything's at.
So for them to get that and open it and be like, oh wow, this is a very well planned out magazine / guide to my city. It's something that they're gonna look through. They're gonna keep. They're gonna hold on to it, and then that serves as a point, pointing them in the direction of social media. And then once we get them on the social media,
Then it's daily.
Yeah, then it's daily.
And I think it's hard. Like, yeah, you can find but it's like when you're looking local, like if I type in coffee shop, it's going to go like, or Starbucks, Coffee Bean's going to hit up. But what if it's like, what if I'm like a coffee dude and I want to go to only local spots?
Yeah.
Or like the local sandwich spot or places like that. It's like, oh, lunch. Like, I hate when I'm at a place and it's like, oh, where do I want to go? It's like all chains.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I want like something local.
Yeah.
Like, I want something different.
And that's why I wanted to put in the magazine, each separated by a section. So it's just coffee. Here's all the locally owned coffee shops.
Yeah.
So for that new mover or just Riverside resident, I'm surprised how many people will comment on a video and be like, I've lived in Riverside my whole life. I didn't know about Butch's Grinders. I'm like, how do you not know about that? Or I didn't know about Delia's. Or
Really?
I've been here 5 years or 10 years, So I'm surprised how many times someone will be here.
Well, I think like arcade kind of takes like, I think that's like the known one. You know what I mean? Like arcade's the spot. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, there's 3 in downtown. I always forget it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's already so many down here that you kind of forget about it.
Right.
So for you, man, like, is this exactly where you wanted to be? Like, like it landed?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I'm pumped right now?
Yeah. Yeah. The event, I mean, gosh, we had over 200 people come out, and just to have the support of so many local business owners and people from the city, and to come out and to, kind of put an endorsement behind it. We believe in this. We're behind it. Was just huge.
Yeah.
Like that night was a blur. And then the last few days of just kind of processing the last year.
Isn't that what sucks about those things, right? Like, you just want to like slow everything down and like hold a moment for a second.
Yeah.
And then before you know, it's like the night's over and you're like, oh man, like I've been lining all this time up to it. Could I just slow this moment down can we just make it 2 days? Like,
well, and believe it or not, like a week and a half, 2 weeks before the event on Thursday, wasn't even planning on doing it. And
really?
Someone had mentioned like, hey man, because I've just been so like deep in with my head down.
Yeah.
And other than my writers and my photographer, who, by the way, photographer, I want to give him a plug, Mike Berger with Michael Berger Creative. Amazing photographer. Just so happy with all the photos in there. But yeah, I've just been so buried in the social media, and then it took me about 3 months to really work on that and get that out. So someone's like, hey man, we should like celebrate, like get together, have a little party or something for the launch. I'm like, oh yeah, I should have done an event.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, usually go big or go home. So it went from like, let's just get a handful of people together to that. So that made it even more crazy, where like 2 weeks before I was even planning on doing
it's
that.
crazy now that I'm starting to learn that now that I have so many connections because of this.
Yeah.
Like you can make so many calls so quickly.
Oh yeah.
And it's like even your guys' DJ, like for me, he like I saw him and he was like, hey, if you ever need a DJ, like just call me, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Like no problem. Like, you know, you have me on the podcast, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It's like when you start having those like connections to get stuff done, it's like you can make like 5 phone calls and it's like, okay, parties together.
That's exactly what happened.
That's what I'm saying.
And it was
like
because of social.
You just make 5 phone calls. You're like, all right, it's all set.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, sweet, done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like out the door, done, whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Isn't
happened.
it?
Exactly what happened.
So for you, like you've always been on the creative side, but like how do you handle like making the calls? Maybe they haven't been that hard, but like making the calls to try to sell people to put advertisement in the magazine.
You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
Yeah, I've used social a lot. I mean,
So just DMing people?
Yeah, I mean, I'll still do some calling, which nobody likes cold calling.
Yeah.
But I'm fortunate now where it's at the point where a lot of times if I am cold calling a business, they're following me or they've heard about it, so that's helped a lot. But social is just so powerful. Like,
dude, it's so powerful.
I mean, especially now, like the other day, like I said, we're bringing on a handful more advertisers, and so I've kind of shifted gear, like, okay, I need to start working on that right now. And just went into my Instagram and look at my followers and just start scrolling down. I'm like, oh wow, this business is following me. I didn't even realize, you know. And so I message them and like, hey, love to meet. They're like, yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah.
So it just, social media just.
Well, and I think out here, I think everyone knows social is the way to go. Like we were talking earlier, like it's here, but they still don't know what to do with it. It's here. We know it's important.
Yeah.
But what do we do?
Right.
And it's always funny for me, like when I see in our space, like when someone's like trying to do it, you know, and they're still doing like green screen, and you're like, dude, like, like if you're gonna do green screen, it better be really, really good.
Right.
And that's really, really hard to pull off because the lighting has to be perfect, the editing has to be perfect, like it has to be like dialed in. And so it's like, I think everyone kind of knows, like, I know I should be making videos. I know my business should be on TikTok or Instagram. I know I should be creating stuff, but like, how do I do that? They just, and then they don't want to make a video every single day for 6 months and be like, well, no one's watching it. So how do you keep shooting them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
are you feeling that like with small businesses that you're working with, or you're like, you know, like you're going and shooting content for them that they are not doing for the most part, you know, and you're like, hey, this is what you should be doing, but it's so hard.
Yeah, I think for most small businesses, they just need to find that person, you know, because probably high 90% of local business owners don't have the skill set or the time or the ability or any of those,
or even want to,
want to be able to do it. So just to be able to find someone that can do that, because I mean, when I look into the future, the next 5-10 years for a business, I mean, being on social media and being present and being relevant, and it's going to move from a place that it's important to a place that it's necessary, I think,
I think
continue to
that's in
survive.
general. Like, I mean, I tell people all the time, like sooner or later you're following on Instagram, like how many followers you have is going to matter.
Yeah.
Like it's going to become a currency, like a status, or, you know, even like it's already here, like blue check marks, you know what I mean? Like a blue check mark means so much.
Yeah.
If you can get a blue check mark, it's like, oh, like you're somebody.
Yeah.
It's crazy how different it is.
It is, and I feel like I've seen that transition in the last few months. It's like once you hit a certain amount of followers, which is, it's unfortunate that it's that way, you know, because I try to have, you know, relationships and be genuine and, you know, focus on what really matters. But I've seen where because of this many followers or this many whatever, people will start to, you know, treat you different.
Yeah.
For sure. But that's just part of life.
I think that's the thing that people like also like. I don't know. It's interesting because it's like so many people think they want to do this, or they try to do it, or they know they need to do it, and they know, and then they don't even like realize that all the steps that go into it, and how much work a 15-second video is, and like how hard it is, like, and then knowing to stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't do your videos. You know what I mean? As like, well, why could you not just shoot a 15-second video? I was like, I just couldn't do it. Like, I would feel weird, like, you know, doing the videos you do. So then that's the other thing too, is like, you got to have the skill set to do the video that needs to be done to get what you want. Like, were you expanding ever on doing like longer videos, or do you just feel like the quick 30-second voiceover bite, blah, 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 has just kind of worked?
Yeah, I'd like to figure that out, but I'm not sure yet. I think the podcast will be the next step and get that going.
Yeah.
But what we were talking about before, I think with the one thing that keeps me motivated in doing videos is that, like, I read a book. Have you read Telling Your Story Brand? It's Donald Miller's his name. And he talks about how so many businesses make a mistake in their marketing or their advertising or their message of trying to just proclaim how great they are, you know, versus focusing on your client, you know, and uses a Star Wars analogy where, like, Luke Skywalker was the hero of the story. Really, Obi-Wan was really, you know, the one behind it, but Obi-Wan was like pointing to Luke and making him the hero. And that's like what Apple did, basically, you know, their early days of marketing, like, you're a genius and you're creative, and you're focusing on your customer. So that's what I've really tried to do with social, where I don't want the attention to be on me, and I'm an introvert and I don't really, it's harder for, you know, it's hard for me to do that. And so for me, I say motivating it's easy, where I'm just focusing on the business and not, and I love the fact that I'll go do a video on a business that has like 100 followers, you know, and it's just a small mom and pop or a small business, and they'll get so happy and so excited. They're like, I can't believe, you know, that you're choosing us, because the tendency in the world we're living is to, like we were saying earlier, is to, I'm going to focus on this business because they're going to do something for me.
Yeah, they have so many followers, and I'm going to get this and that and da-da-da-da.
And I think that's one of the things people enjoy and will, you know, enjoy the content. It's like, okay, he's not really doing it for himself. Like, he genuinely wants to help his city, generally wants to help these small businesses. And if you do that, it's gonna come back. You know, if you're going into something and you're like, I'm doing this so that I can get that, people are gonna see through it.
Well, I think the other thing too is, like, I mean, for the most part, like, you know, one day I hope this is all I have to do. Probably not, you know, hopefully. Yeah. But the thing is too, is like kind of like what you said about the 100 followers or whatever, and you're doing that. Like, for me, it's my moment is like when someone puts headphones on and hears their voice for the first time in a podcast, or they walk in super nervous and then we get done and they're like, oh my God, I want to start my own podcast. You know what I mean? So just that feeling of like, wow, you actually want it. It's still kind of weird for me when people are like, I never, like, I'll have some people on. I'm like, well, why don't you never ask? Like, to be on my, like, someone I kind of know. Right. You could have asked me. I didn't know you wanted to be on. They're like, well, I just didn't feel like you would want me to on. I'm like, no, of course. Isn't that kind of weird where people are like, probably for you, you've had it where like you go do one, they're like someone you kind of know. They're like, oh, I didn't know you would want to shoot my business. It's like, well, yeah, of course. Why would I not want to shoot your business? Yeah,
for sure. When it's funny too, I remember doing the podcast. I'm sure you've had so many experiences like this where, because you never know how someone's going to act as soon as, like, you go live, right?
The moment the camera turns on, oh, my God, dude.
There was a few situations where, like, we're talking and everything's cool.
Everything's great.
And then we're like, boom, and they were just like,
yep.
Their eyes got real big.
Dude, I try to, like, I literally will sometimes, like, when I know the person's going to do that, sometimes I'll just, like, keep talking and talking and talking. And then, like, I'm like, and when we get, and, like, 30 minutes into it, then I'll go, like, I'll be like, stop, and I'll shoot the intro.
Yeah.
halfway into it already because they didn't realize how much time has passed.
Right.
And then I'll be like, okay, we've been going for 30 minutes, and I'll just cut it back. I'll just chop it, put it in the front, and go.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's been fun, man. I mean, I don't know about you, but I bet you're enjoying it.
I am. Yeah. I mean, I love this city, and to be able, I feel like I have a front row seat to like a renaissance that's happening. Like actually the art piece on the cover, Juan named it Riverside Renaissance, is the name of the art piece. And, we're the city of arts and innovation. And I feel like with what he's doing at the East Side Art House and different businesses are opening, the Mark opening.
Yeah.
And
when's that going to open?
I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't.
But it's funny when you're in Riverside, it's like when you're in that like circle.
Yeah.
You're now in the inner circle. You're friends with the mayor. You know what I mean? She comes to your events.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in that inner circle, you all of a sudden it's like you start knowing more of because we're such a big city.
Yeah.
Like I kind of forget how big we truly are, like how many population wise we're so massive.
Yeah.
That it's like, but then when you get into that inner circle of like you start knowing the players in Riverside and you start knowing the things that are going to happen in Riverside before they happen, like it is a world that when you get in, like it is that inner tight circle that of seeing like, oh, this is coming up and this is coming up. And then you hear people talking about how, I don't think it's ever going to happen, but like, what was that area that's going to be by they're talking about between the Marriott and the convention center is going to be like this whole like downtown experience.
Yeah, I was hearing about that and then it stopped.
I think it died.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm excited to see where the city goes for sure. It's weird to say that I'm 35 years old and I never left. You know what I mean? I never thought that was going to be. I mean, for you, what are you, 45? No, 46?
46, yeah.
Did you ever think that 46 years old you'd be making a magazine in the town you grew up in?
No, I really didn't. I mean, I kind of always knew I would come back because I was gone for over 15 years. Kind of in the back of my mind, like one day I'll go back. But yeah, to be back and to be doing this and I'm very fortunate for sure. And like I said, to have a front row seat to what's happening in Riverside, I'm so excited, honestly, for our city.
Yeah.
Like you said, people don't realize how big it is. I mean, there's cities that are smaller than us that have professional.
We're bigger than
sports
Pittsburgh.
Teams. Yeah, that have.
Literally,
teams.
we're literally bigger than Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's funny. I try to remind myself that when it comes to real estate, when I'm like, why can't I farm this place? Well, it's like, well, I'm farming orange grass. It's 8,000 houses. Like, it's more houses than Eastville. Like, it's so hard. It's so huge, big, and it's so. But I think we're kind of tapped out. I mean, like, obviously we're doing some development right now, but like, we don't really have any more houses to put. Like, we're kind of running out of space.
We are.
We're kind of running out of space. Do you ever think you'll outside of go to Riverside? Like, do you think like this might be the stepping stone for you to start making more of these out here? For different cities, one for Temecula, one in maybe not you run it because like obviously you have to be so like in it, but like branching out kind of like you did with the real estate magazine.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I think I would put together kind of a team. Yeah, and then have someone that I can kind of work with and mentor and train and kind of hand off to be able to do it somewhere else. So it's a possibility, but historically for me, I've always, like we talked about at the beginning, I think before we started, I get super ADD and it's like, okay, most of the creative's done. Like now let's go expand to do something else. And
because we're crazy.
Not put down the roots down. So this is the first time where I'm being very conscious and intentional of like, no, this is it. I mean, maybe there will be something else, but I'm not looking for anything else. I'm not planning anything else. Like I just want to go really, really deep on this and maximize it, as much as I can and make it what it really can and needs to be, and before I get too distracted.
Try to get distracted, It's the what makes you great as a creator and what is also your downfall.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which just caused my life to look like this, and I want a little more
like
this.
that.
Yeah.
So if we're sitting here in a year, what would be a big W for you?
Sitting there for a year, and I've figured out the twice a year print and that distribution, and we would just have had the second annual event. Instead of 200 people, we have at least 500 people there, and just to look back and just see a trail of like businesses that I've connected. Because at the end of the day, the biggest joy I get from all of it is when I'm able to see this small business owner, because of the video, because of the magazine, or just something to do with what I'm doing, those two business owners connected and they helped each other, or they grew. Like when I look in my rearview mirror and now I can see them now, but just to see that number expand where it's like, man, this, or not even just the relationship, but I've had some businesses that I've done a video on that have told me our sales are up, and it's been like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like from the day you did that video and it got 500,000 views, our sales are up 45%.
Isn't it crazy?
Every single day. So to see the power of, you know, one video that can completely
Dude.
change a business. Where some of the businesses I'll go in and like, man, 5 people came in this week and, you know, said, I'm here because I saw that guy.
The thing people realize is how much that means to them.
So much. Yeah.
Because when you're a small business owner, literally everyone's against you.
Yeah.
like everything is no,
Yeah.
taxes, competition, everything is so no. So to see someone like come and try to like bring value to your company and ask for nothing is like mind blowing because it just doesn't exist.
No. And I mean, the relationships that I've been able to make, like there's so many examples, but like Cowboy Burger and Barbecue, they catered our event. And I did one of the very first videos I did under BeLocal Riverside, and like the first.
Dude, how are you not 1,000 pounds? How are you not 1,000 pounds? Because everything you eat is like massive.
I do intermittent fasting.
Oh, okay,
too,
that
so
way.
I only eat within like a
you do it
4-hour
16
period.
Oh, you're doing 20s or 16s?
I try to minimum 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, sometimes if the food's so good, I do, but I try not to eat the whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah. So like my teenage boys get a lot of food
Yeah.
sometimes. So like, hey man, I got a bunch of like onion rings and all this stuff. So I'll take it to my boys.
Are you at a point now where people comp your food?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
but most of the time, I always try to pay for it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I don't even tell them that I'm coming in.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I just go in and buy
Do
it.
it. Yeah.
But like there's one situation where I went into a restaurant recently and they like all recognized me and I could tell. It was the first time that really happened.
Yeah.
Where they were like kind of scrambling.
Yeah.
And, like they were all
Like you're
coming to the table.
you're a food reviewer, like
Yeah.
you're like gonna be writing something in the paper.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it was just funny. But like I was saying before, I feel so fortunate to be where I am now. I mean, I've had ups and downs in my life, and then starting with COVID the last few years,
Yeah.
it's been probably some of the hardest times in my life. But to be at this point where I'm doing something that I love, I get to be creative with the content that I love, and to be able to help small businesses and like. I do a video and it like really helps, like immediately helps. the
Immediately,
business.
yeah.
Just there's not much more fulfilling than that. But then making the relationships, like some of the businesses where they become like family or friends, you know, like Cowboy Burger, they're just amazing people, amazing story. And I did all those videos, you know, and over the last 9 months, and there was no expectation, you know, to do anything back. And when you do that, obviously it's now starting to pay off for me, but the biggest payoff was the relationship, you know, that you'll be able to build, because our business is like, man, he did all this for free and didn't expect anything.
Yeah.
And then their walls come down and you're able to really make friends, you know,
For sure.
relationships. Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone ask you like when they hit you up or you go there or whatever, it's like, how much does this cost?
I'll get that on DMs all the time.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, how much do you charge for a video? And I'm just like, yeah, I don't. And then
People always ask me about the podcast. How much do you charge?
much
How
you
much do I
charge for it?
charge for you to come on the podcast? I was like, nothing.
yeah,
I was like, you want to give me money? That's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I could
Leave a
pay
little
Adrian for the
tip
day.
jar.
Yeah, tip jar out
there.
front.
Yeah,
So, man, I'll tell you what, man, it's been great. I mean, I've known you now for 4 years.
yeah,
And to see the transition you've gone through, and, you know, COVID was rough for you guys in the
Yeah.
magazine world, and to see you just so able to pivot, you know, it's very inspiring. I hope you know that.
yeah. I appreciate it.
I mean, I think there is a handful of people at that event staring at you on stage, being like, "If he did it,
yeah,
I can do it,"
Yeah.
or whatever.
yeah,
And I think that's going to be the cool thing in the future. As bigger this gets, is like the story. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like something I hope you lean into sooner or later.
yeah,
You know, because I don't think people process I think it's like one of those things where if you don't own a small business, you just do not know the roller coaster that you strap in on
yeah.
all the time, you know. And it's just like there has to be something wrong with us.
There has to
They're
be, yeah.
literally like, I try to tell myself, like, why can't I just take a W-2 gone to college, got a
Right.
degree, got a W-2 job at the city, and been done?
But we would be miserable.
Oh, I'd be miserable.
So miserable.
God, I would literally be like, I talk to people all the time. And like, I remember like there's times where people are like, there's no way you could ever have a W-2 job. Why? You would be fired immediately. HR would fire you. The first time your boss told you to do something, you'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. That's stupid.
Oh man, years ago before I went into publishing, I was kind of in between trying to figure out what to do in my early 30s, and I took a job doing telemarketing.
Oh
for
God.
Time
dang.
Warner Cable. It was inbound calls.
Oh,
So
okay.
we were in this tiny little cubicle, and I'd been, own my own business since my early 20s, and that was like torture.
The best is when you hear everyone in the
Oh.
background when
Yeah.
those people call you. I try to be so nice to cold callers now because I know the pain. So I'm like so nice to them, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm not interested, and they keep going.
Yeah.
I'm not interested, and they keep going. I'm like, all right, I gotta go, guy.
Yeah, it's just torture being. It's like 9 to 5, and in here it's like you have a 15-minute break, and
Yeah.
like your day's just this. I'm like, oh man.
If I was a W-2 employee, I'd pick up smoking just to get more breaks. I wouldn't even ever light them. I would just sit there and like, pretend
Yeah.
I smoke just so I can go outside.
You know I can't waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can't waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can't waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
I used to complain I waited tables when I was in college and I didn't smoke, and I was like, I need to start smoking to get a break around here. Like, what's the crap?
I know. So what's the best way to get people to get a hold of you, man? DMs, calls, emails?
Yeah, I'd say probably DM. Comment on the best way is to comment like on
Really?
a comment in Instagram too, because my Instagram, you have your messages.
Give
but
your
then
general
the people
whatever
that aren't
request.
following you,
Yeah.
like that thing gets so backed up that it's like I try to go back and to read everything. So, and this is a good practice too for if you're in any kind of sales too, small business, like send a DM, but like make a comment too. Like
Yeah.
I've done that when I was trying to get in front of businesses, like, hey, and make it unique too. Cause like I'm getting those and it's like the same message, right? Like I literally get, I'm sure you get
Yeah.
the same copy and pasted.
Dude, I
message
get
from,
that.
like,
I get the same script phone call from
Yeah.
a million people. Like, I get listen, here's another tip I give for small businesses. If you're truly hitting someone up to give them value and you deeply know in the back of your mind is to get business down the road,
yeah.
literally do 2 or 3, 4 things before you ask for something.
Yeah.
Like I love hey, I'll get voicemails. I get voice texts now or like in DMs and they'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, listen, like I came across your page. This is always, randomly came across your page
Yeah.
and it looks like you're crushing it, man. Listen, I'm not trying to get your business
Yeah.
because I just want to learn from someone like you who's killing it. But I was like, oh, here we go. But
Right.
my loan officers team can truly help you grow your business in 2023. Do you have 5 minutes to hop on a call to see how I can help you do it? Yes, I've heard that script that many times that I can. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you couldn't even go a 60-second message not trying to ask me for my business.
No. And then like a local business owner that isn't that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll try to send a message on Instagram and it won't be exactly
'Cause
like
it's-
that, but
yeah.
it will look more like that.
Yeah.
So like the tip is
Be
like,
so different.
Be different. Be personal. Yeah. Just
I would say like the best thing I always tell people is like mention something you watched. So then
Yeah.
I know you watched it. Like, hey, I watched that video on
yeah.
the business you did this. I really liked it. I was
Mhm.
wondering if you maybe would want to, we have this at our business. I'd love to see if you can like mention something you paid attention to.
Right.
Like I love when people are like, hey, I watched that podcast with so-and-so and you guys talked about XYZ. I'm like, okay, cool. They
Yeah.
actually listened. And then it's like, oh, can I be on because I do this and I'd like to talk about that. Okay, cool.
Right. It's like,
You know?
you're a real person.
You're a real
Yeah.
person. You actually paid attention, not just like DM.
Yeah. And there's so, I know you do it and you've preached it forever since I've known you, as far as like giving without any expectation.
Dude.
I know we've both been like Gary Vee fans and
Yeah.
like absorbed a lot of his content, but the whole jab right
Yeah.
hook, like basically is how I did this, which
Mhm.
for 9 months of just doing free videos for all
Yeah.
these businesses and not asking for anything, that allowed me to, because I pushed my deadline up a month. And
did you?
And I only had like 1 or 2 advertisers.
So you had to start asking.
Just doing content. So I'm like, oh man, I need to pay for this.
You gotta start asking.
Yeah. And I've launched 7 different magazines over the last 13 years. And typically, so I know the way it works, and I know it typically would take about 3 to 6 months
to load it,
to get enough advertising sales. Like, you know, how many people I can get in front of in a week and closing percentage on that. It's like 3 to 6 months to get enough advertisers to cover the cost and have a little bit extra. And because of the 9 months of content and all the relationships, I did it in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Where I just like reaching out to the people, hey, you know, let's get to, yeah, absolutely. And
because they're so like, you've done so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have a buddy who owns a shoe company in North Carolina. Like met him once. He was a friend of a friend. I flew out there for something. He let me stay at his house for free, right? Treated me like we've known each other forever. Yeah. Super nice guy. Well, he owns a running store, and I'm, you know, training for a marathon. Freaking call him up, and I'm like, hey, I want to order some shoes off of you. And he goes like, what? I'm like, dude, you let me stay at your house for free. You're my friend now. I will order my shoes from you.
Right.
And then what pissed me off, he gave me a 20% discount. He screenshot me the receipt and said, here you go. And I wrote him back, said, thanks, but like next time don't give me 20% off. Yeah. And he's like, why? I was like, I'm not buying shoes from you for a discount. I'll pay full price. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, that's how we do it. And he's like, thanks, man. Like, because he's expecting me to ask for a discount. Right. And I'm like the opposite. Like, no, dude, I don't want a discount. Like, I'll go, like, people hit me up now in the pocket, like, oh, I'll do this for free. And like, no, dude, I'll pay. I'll come to your business and I'll pay for it.
Right.
I'm not doing this so I can get free hot sauce. You know what I mean?
There's a bigger picture.
There's a way more bigger photo for that.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, like I said, super inspiring. I can't wait to see where you go. Like I said, it's inspiring. I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And I know, like, the 9 months of, like, doing this every day.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, like, I'll come home to the house and my girl will be like, what's wrong? I'm like, I did 5 podcasts today. I'm so tired. And she's like, what did you talk about? I don't even know. Yeah. Like, I have no idea. I went from vegan pizza guy to a typewriter guy who does typewriters to an up-and-coming rapper. I had a TikTok guy on. I was like, I don't even know. Like, my brain's so fried right now.
And I wanted to just, like, kudos to you. Like, your podcasts have, like, the last 3 or 4 months have been really good.
Thanks, man.
Like, there's a ton of them. You know, we both consume a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes you'll listen to a little bit here, but like you've had a handful over the last few months where I listened to like the entire thing. So
I think I'm really happy the direction it's going. I think it's funny. Have you, now that you got the magazine, has you built confidence to ask more people? Like, it is crazy to me how I would not have people on the What's Good in Riverside podcast because I didn't have a sign. Really? Swear to God. I got this sign in November. I literally did 30 podcasts in December. And I just doing like none before because I was so like, well, it doesn't have the right sign. It's not on brand. People are going to be like, what podcast is this? What is this? And I was like, the excuse I'm not doing this podcast, which I know it's important, was me not having a neon sign. Buy the $800 neon sign to do the podcast. In your head. It was in my head.
In your head, yeah.
But it was just crazy. So for you, like, now, do you feel like at any point were you struggling having the confidence to ask people or do these, and has that changed now that it's like real? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it coming out, having the party, like it's in people's hands, gotten the feedback.
Like you feel like you're like legit now.
Yeah.
Like the sign made me feel like I was legit. I don't know why, but it was like, oh, we're doing this now.
Right.
Like we have the mics, we have the podcast room, but until the sign came up, I was so like.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, it wasn't huge, but I can tell in other people's mind, you know, it was like, oh, he's
legit.
Yeah, he's not just a TikTok influencer, you know, because I didn't even put myself in the first few videos. Like, that wasn't my intention, and like what it's kind of turned into evolved. But it's funny. I can tell in talking to some people, and some people I'm pretty close with, either at the party or since them seeing the magazine. I can hear in their voice, and I can tell like, oh, like you didn't. You kind of thought what I was doing wasn't serious or legit. You know what I mean? Because the way they're like complimenting it, it's just funny. It's funny to see. Obviously, I saw the finish line at a time, but I've had some people just come out as friends or people I know straight up like, and I didn't really understand what you were doing or how this was going to work out, but now I understand. I see it. So.
And it's like so funny because it's crazy that you're saying that to people where I was like, I know where he's going.
Yeah.
Like I saw what you were doing. I was like, okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
And then when you're like, yeah, we're dropping a magazine too. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I got this. Makes sense. Okay, and then the funny part is like who we are, or whatever. I'm like, so podcast now. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah. When
I'm like, so you're doing a podcast, or when's that coming up? Like, we
Right.
need a podcast going, and we need this going, and we.
You're like, I know what's next.
Yeah, I know what the next move is.
Yeah.
It's just funny because we see it that way.
Yeah.
You know, and we understand. We've done so much on like creating content and holding people's attention and staying in front of them all the time and knowing how important that is and providing value and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Where if you're not in that world, you just don't. What do you mean you got to shoot a video once a day?
Right.
But it's crazy. I had Jay from the Riv. You know who that is on
Yeah,
TikTok. So I
yeah.
had him on the podcast.
We've messaged each other.
Super
few
nice
times.
guy.
Yeah, good guy.
Super good kid. I feel bad for him. Hope his baby's doing well.
Yeah, I saw a post today. It looks like
Doing better.
turned
Yes.
on, Yeah.
It's funny. We were supposed to drop his podcast this week. I didn't drop it
Yeah.
because he's dealing with all this, and
Yeah.
I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, it's crazy. He was saying, I was like, he was posting every single day, and then he started realizing that his videos weren't doing as well because it wasn't like enough time to soak. We talked about on the podcast where it was like, well, I dropped this one, and then I dropped one the next day, and then this one started taking views from this one. So then he started going every 3 days,
Really?
and his views were doing a lot better. Have you ever thought about cutting back from every single day?
I've seen a drastic change when I don't post every day.
You see, they go down.
Yeah, and I'll even look at my analytics, and it's like, so for me, like, it works for me for
Every
my,
day.
Like, yeah, and when I hit a stride of like 6, 7, 8 in a row, and they're good ones,
Yeah.
it's just like then it keeps climbing. And the biggest difference also is in my follower count too, not obviously the views too, but for me, and I don't know a super ton about the algorithm, but I know like the algorithm is putting you into a category as well. You know, it's basically it's like, okay, you're a fitness person or you're
Yeah.
a food person, and so it's looking for people that are interested in
Into
that.
that.
And I think most of what I do is food, and they're shorts, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
You don't have to really think. It's not funny. It's just a
Boom,
really
go.
quick information.
Yeah.
Here it is. So people that consume that content, I think they'll watch
Yeah.
it.
I'm surprised you're
Yeah,
not doing
every day.
YouTube Shorts.
I need to. The
Yeah.
only reason I'm not is just because
Time.
it's been 100% me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why main reason I need to bring on an editor, someone that I
And someone can post for you.
can have edit and post and
Yeah.
say, hey, put these on all the different platforms.
It's funny how now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I got an editor. I got someone who edits. We had to bring on a second editor. She posts my stuff for me now. I want to get someone to show all my houses for me. Like, it's like, how much more can I take off my plate?
Someone
And
to
you
do my
keep thinking
podcast
like,
for me.
you keep thinking like, oh, but then you start realizing, okay, what makes me the most money?
Yeah.
It's literally me making content, working with my developers. Like, that's really where all the money comes from, is like working with developers in my developments, staying on track of those with them, keeping them happy, and shooting content.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like, everything else is just busy work.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't have time to drive across town to show one condo and then drive all the way back with the traffic and
Yeah.
everything for you.
Yeah.
So, are you doing it all in one day? Or what do you shoot,
For the
one in a day?
videos?
Yeah,
On best case scenario, yeah.
one in all day.
Yeah. Or best case scenario is I'll knock out 2 or
Yeah.
3 in a day. But usually I get in a rhythm where it's like 1 a day. Like I'll shoot it that morning or the day, or I'm like
Yeah.
a day behind.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm posting. But honestly, I'm kind of all over the place. I
Yeah.
have been just trying to balance the magazine and advertising sales and now having clients and client management and all that stuff. It's
You ever thought about bringing someone on to do the videos, like as a partner?
like to be the person in the videos.
Not just be them,
Yeah.
but like split it.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes it's you, sometimes it's them, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's them.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when I bring people on, like you talked about early on, I want to bring people on to do the stuff that I don't enjoy doing or that I dread doing. And for me, that's editing and posting.
But you like going and shooting.
Yeah,
the videos.
I like
You like
meet-
meting the
I
people.
like meeting the business
yeah.
owner and
And then those business owners start knowing you.
Mhm.
You know who's been really crushing it? Is the guy who's What's Up Riverside.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you met him? He was.
I met him at the party for the
Met
first.
him, yeah.
It's funny. I was walking by. I never met him before. I spoke to him on the phone one time. I was
Yeah.
walking past him, and he literally goes like, "You're Adam." I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, hey, it's so and so. He's like, I run What's Up in Riverside. I was like, oh, what's up, man? Like, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've been like talking about. I'm like, dude, like we've gone back and forth. He he shares shares my stuff, whatever. And I'm like, yo, when are you coming on the podcast? And he's like, oh, I don't like being in front of the camera. Blah blah. I'm like, hey, like let me know when you want to do it. Like, like here's the link, just book it. Whatever. And he's like, yeah, I need to. I wonder with him is like he's kind of like so all over the place. He's not, you know what I mean? He's like doing like houses and doing this and doing that. Like, I wonder if the niche thing's not gonna. I mean, if he needs to go more nichey.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I guess it's trying to be kind of just all inclusive.
Everything, yeah.
Riverside, which is hard. I would not want to do that.
Well, it's hard because like, who do you focus on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bless both of your guys' hearts.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. Seriously,
Yeah.
that's so difficult. Do you like really go hard on the algorithm, like the stats? Like, are you looking at?
I just try to like.
Because I'm bad at YouTube. I'm like, even though YouTube's our lowest performing stuff.
Yeah.
Two things I look at the most is YouTube numbers for us, and our email campaign open rate. Those are the two things I like. I'm like, okay, cool. We're at 22% open rate this week. Like, yes. Yeah,
I mean, I try to stay like up to date with just any like major like latest trends. I don't go super deep on it, but the thing I am intentional on, and my videos have evolved over the last year, is look at a video that maybe didn't perform and figure out why.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, it was because I posted at this time, or it was because it was too long at the beginning, or there was this like pause right here, because people's attention spans are so short
fast
right now. Like your video, it's almost a science right now with the video to have 15 seconds where you're really showcasing what this business is, telling the story, and keeping their attention, and not just being fluff. Like it's just,
or just a swipe.
Yeah,
that was like my argument with TikTok. Like, I have 3 step kids, so I'll watch. They're 14, 12, and 11. I'll watch them on TikTok, and they're just like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you even know what you just looked at?
Yeah.
And I don't think they do. So like for me, like if I know that's like the TikTok algorithm is just them, like if that counts as a view or whatever, it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't really matter to me.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, I don't go super deep, but I try to, and I don't even go deep on that, but I just try to pay attention to the videos.
You don't do thumbnails, do you?
I just started recently. I'm putting text on it, so
so people
because I realize if people find it and want to go back and watch, especially on Instagram,
it's
like, what is that? So I'm putting just the title of the business on it.
Right. So you just screenshot and go.
Yeah.
Thumbnails are hard too. I mean, that's what takes a long time, having that graphic designer.
Yeah. Have you seen the podcast Colin and Samir?
Yes.
Yeah. They do a good job. I've watched a bunch of theirs because they're basically just interviewing creators and kind of telling their story. So I've learned a lot from
Do you ever worry about overconsumption?
With just putting out too much content?
No, for yourself.
Oh, for myself?
I don't, you know what, when people go like, oh, is there too much content? Like, do you post, like people go, oh, you post too much. I'm like, I don't think it's that. Some people have said that to me, you post too much. I'm like, okay, well, okay.
Yeah.
Like, sure, if you think so. I was like, your argument is you just don't ever post. Right. So like, which one's right?
Yeah.
Never posting or posting too much. I'd rather post too much.
Yeah.
But my algorithm now, my posting is I kind of want to be where it's like when you wake up in the morning, you check your phone, you see me. When you go check your phone at lunch, you see me. And when you check your phone to go to bed on Instagram, you see me. Yeah. If I can be at those 3 spots in the day where I have something. So if someone saw me in the morning, I'll have something new by noon. I'll have something new by 6.
Yeah.
If that's like the 3 things I like hitting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine is by doing one a day. I've tried to keep that consistency, so people like even subconsciously were like, oh, what's the video today? What's the restaurant, or what's the business? So for them to either like go look, or when it does pop up, like, oh,
boom,
it grabs their attention. It's like, oh, this is the new one. You know, it's mostly subconscious, but so the once a day works
for you.
Well, for me, yeah.
But going back to, do you overconsume? Like, do you think you overconsume podcasting, books, and stuff like that? YouTube videos or no?
No, I mean, fortunately, I've just haven't had the time.
Yeah.
And I've had to be super strict. You know, you get in that wormhole or rabbit hole of being on TikTok or Instagram, where you're like,
I never go on TikTok, dude.
It was like, I just spent 20 minutes. So I try to be really intentional, and I have some stuff that I want to look at or watch people that I follow.
Yeah.
So So I try to just do that and just not scroll.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not a scroller.
Yeah.
Like if you take, like it's so funny how I argue with people all the time. It's like if you take, and it's actually gone up a little bit in the last week or so. It's like if you take your average Instagram time versus my Instagram, I normally beat everyone.
yeah.
Like I'm only on Instagram like maybe 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It's very low.
Yeah.
And I don't go on TikTok at all.
Yeah.
I'm anti-TikTok.
It sucks you in, man.
I just, the algorithm is not what I want to see.
You have one though, don't you?
I have
Yeah.
one, but we just post. I don't
Just
pay
post,
attention to
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I believe, for me, it's like I could focus on Instagram and YouTube more than anything else. Like that's why I really need to get on myself about shooting those living in Riverside videos, because it's like I know those work.
Yeah.
YouTube is a Google search. Like I know it works. It's just I feel so stupid doing them. I just need to get over my fear of doing it.
No, honestly, man, they're good. Like you don't.
Thank you.
You don't look awkward on it at
Yeah.
all. Like whatever you're thinking in your head, it's like.
But that's the
gross.
thing.
It's
That's the
not.
worst part. We're our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the
Like
thing.
I watched. You've done a couple of them.
Yeah. I've done
watched
like
the whole
like
thing.
7 or
Yeah.
8. Yeah.
Yeah. The ones I've seen, I watched the whole thing.
I just think so it's just one of those things where I just feel stupid. Not me personally, but like, is someone gonna ask me what I'm doing? Is someone gonna yell at me for being in front of their house? Like, is someone going like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm just trying to make a video about Riverside and try to get someone to buy a house for me. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm just trying to like, I think that's what's really hard nowadays is like, it's like everyone questions always the negative. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just trying to talk about how great your neighborhood is. Like that's
Yeah.
all I'm trying to talk about. I'm trying to talk about the positive and negatives of your neighborhood. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I want to be left alone. I'm an introvert. Isn't it crazy? You say you're an introvert.
For
I say
sure.
I am one.
Very much.
And
so.
people will probably both say we're both wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. People that like don't know me personally, but have just like known me through social media. If I say I'm an introvert, they're like, no, you're not. I'm
Dude,
like,
people
I'm classic
Dude.
introvert. Yeah.
people like will talk to Jessica and be like, oh, you're dating Adam? Really? She's like, oh, and then if they like only met me one time at a networking event, they're like, oh, you're really dating him? Like, why? She's like, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, well, I met him this one time and he just was kind of like a jerk. She's like, well, where'd you meet him? Oh, I met him at this YPN networking event. And she's like, listen, he actually hates going to those. Like, he doesn't want to talk to anyone. Like, he's
Yeah.
an introvert. Like, he doesn't want to be there. No way. I see him do podcasts all the time. I see him on camera all the time. She's like, I know. You would think he's not. But when you get him in a room of people, he's very just like to himself. Like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to be left alone. Like,
Yeah.
unless you want to come and approach me, I'm not going to go out and like talk to you. Like, I'm very like, hey, like, I don't want to bother you. If you don't want to talk to me, like, let's just
Yeah.
leave this alone.
Yeah, no, I love big groups, parties. It's exhausting. Like if I
I'm
go
tired.
to a networking event, I just ran a marathon.
Yeah.
Coming out of it, but meeting small business owners, doing these videos,
It's one-on-one. It's so much easier.
one-on-one. It's easier.
Yeah.
It fills me up versus depleting me.
Dude, like I was talking to someone at your event actually, and I was like, how do you do it? And they're like, what? And I was like, I know I'm on right now because I know half the room.
Yeah.
I know you know everyone in this room. They know you. Like, and it's like, dude, it's like you have to be on.
Yeah.
Like you can't slip up. Like you have to be so intentional. The way you're acting, who you're talking to, how you talk to them, how engaging you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like another level.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, man, Mark, proud of you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
I've been rooting for you.
I appreciate it.
It's funny when I saw you go certain paths in the last few years, I'm like, he doesn't want to do this. I could just tell. Like, I was like, this is not what he wants to do.
No.
Like, I could just tell in your voice in the videos. Like, I'd be like, he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then now it's like, I think like I can tell and most people can't, but I can see from like those videos to now, like
Right.
how different, just how more natural, how more consistent. Like, I don't feel like you're fighting it anymore.
No.
It's like you're like, I'm gonna go do this video. Where before I think it was kind of like, I have to go do this video today.
Yeah.
All right, I know I need to be making this video, and you're like, I really don't want to,
Right.
but I know I
That's
need
what I'm
to.
supposed to do.
I know this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Let me go do it. But I think now it's like you want to do it
Yeah.
because I don't know, and I think too for you probably you can say I'm wrong or right, but it's more instant gratification too.
Oh, for sure.
Like
yeah.
you shoot it, the numbers go up. Business owners are like, hey, 5 people came in. Or like, I think the hard part, like in the beginning or in real estate, it's like a video I shot a year ago might lead to something in 8 months. You know what I mean? And it's like, maybe. If no one watched. That's the one thing I hate about
Yeah.
It's like, you're 15 seconds, great. But like for me, what people don't get, it's like 5 minutes, and then retakes, and then I had to do the homework to make the video and make sure my numbers are right, and then it's like 150 views, solid. Oh man! So if you guys want to pick up the magazine, go to Made for the next 30 days.
Yep, pick it up at Made. The demand's been a lot higher than I expected, so I think we might have run out today, but I have more coming. So I'll replenish it every month. So if you go there, they go there and it's empty. Send me a message too. And I've had people reach out and like send me their address because they live in Chicago and Montana. I'm like, can you send me one? So if you're not in Riverside, I'll send you one as well. And then the people can buy the art piece. Doesn't have the BeLocal on the top. It's just the art piece by Juan Navarro that he said our house called Riverside Renaissance. So I'm actually, by the time this post, it will be on my social media. In my link tree on my social media, there's a link.
Be there.
There's a link to buy the print. We have a ton of different sizes.
Nice.
And that link goes to the Eastside Art House website.
Nice.
And 100% of the proceeds for the art piece forever will go back to the Eastside Art House.
Exciting.
And there's probably fall, he's going to create an actual painted version of it.
Oh, on a wall somewhere?
On canvas.
It'd be so sick if you do that on the side of a building.
Yeah, that would be cool. I had someone message me that used to live in Riverside and lives somewhere else yesterday and asked if I would send him the digital version because he wants to get it tattooed on his back.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, that'd be a cool tattoo. But anyways, Juan's going to create a physical piece of it, and the plan at the end of there is to auction it off.
Nice.
And give it back to a Riverside nonprofit.
Nice. I wish he would do it on a wall.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Right? Somewhere in Riverside on a wall would be sick.
I hadn't even thought about that.
That'd be
amazing.
Super sick. I mean, he's doing tons of them right now.
Yeah. I'll have to talk to Philip.
Yeah. Pull some strings, Philip. God dang. So thanks, man. Make sure you guys go follow him. If you're a small business and you want to advertise in their magazine, send him a DM. Remember, comment first, then DM so he can get see your posts. Make sure, do something special so he'll catch your eye. Dude, this stuff works. If you're on the fence about social media and slowly but surely, I don't think Mark wants to admit this, but he is an influencer now. So this stuff's working. It works. It's price per dollar, trust me, is way better on social media than it is on anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks, man. Mark, appreciate you. Make sure you go follow everyone. Until next time, guys, peace.